Ladies and gentlemen, this Olympics has been ridiculous. From the openly mocking of Christianity in the opening ceremony. By the way, I think the only reason people really care about that is because they would never do it about another religion. To the main river in Paris being so disgusting, some athletes even threw up after swimming in it. To this story about an apparently trans boxer fighting women, a person allegedly born a man fighting against biological women. And everybody on the internet is talking about this right now. And I imagine it is so widely discussed because so many people feel bad for female athletes right now. Imagine training your entire life only to be beaten by someone who was born a man, allegedly. Now, I keep saying allegedly for a very important reason, and I'll get to that. But if you are fighting against someone who was born a man, a biological man, it is nothing short of cheating. Okay? Sorry, but it needs to be said. There are apparently several athletes competing in the Olympics right now that should not be there. Number one, this guy, the volleyball guy who was convicted of R-wording a child. Why are they there? To this boxer who apparently is beating up women. And there's two boxers who are apparently doing it. I am honestly shocked there is this much controversy about the gender of female boxers in the Olympics. But if you do some digging and don't just react negatively to what is being said and reported, you might find out that not everything is as it seems. You see, the initial reaction from most people is to be very angry, and I understand why, because biological women should not be having to compete against biological men, and most people agree with that. But apparently, this is the story, that she really is a she just has really high testosterone levels. And probably a massive clit, if that's the story. I'm just saying, it's probably like this. That's terrifying. She's an Algerian athlete, and one of the sporting codes in Algeria had this to say about the whole ordeal. At every major sporting event, our champion, our talented boxer, Amen Khilev, is attacked from all sides, and this year is no exception. Serious accusations are leveled against her, such as petty attacks saying she's a man, she's trans, she's not a woman. We reminded everyone that our boxer was deemed ineligible to participate in the last boxing world championship due to excessively high testosterone levels. Similar to South African athletic star Caster Semenya. Excellence disrupts. The excellence of African women disrupts. I don't think all African women have really high testosterone. But anyway, that's the statement from the Algerians. Okay. But this happened at last year's World Championship, governed by the International Boxing Association, the IBA. The president, Umar Kremlev, claimed that two women had taken chromosome tests that came back as XY. And the two women in question are Iman Kalev of Algeria and Lin Wu Ting of Taiwan, who just so happened to also win at the Olympics over the weekend. So all of this came to light after an Italian boxer quit during her fight after like 46 seconds after she was punched too hard, apparently, by someone she believes to be male. Now, as I said, this story went everywhere. It blew up. It was the biggest story in sport for the last, 6 months. It was huge. And because of this, the Olympic Committee had to make a statement, and this was the statement.
The Algerian boxer was born female, was registered female, lived her life as a female, boxed as a female, has a female passport. This is not a transgender case. I know you're not saying that, but there has been some confusion that somehow it's a man fighting a woman. This is just not the case. This woman has competed for a very, very long time in women's sport. I think if you start working on all suspicions, then we end up very much heading towards a gender testing regime, which is not good for anybody.
So what happened from that? Well, the Italian boxer apologized. Interesting, right? It does open up a question. Who's telling the truth? There's been some genetic testing. Apparently there's been other testing done. And then the Algerians are saying this and the other body in world boxing saying something else. Who knows what to believe? But there are people in the position that this apparent female boxer from Algeria happened to be in. Now, some people are born with way too much testosterone and they're female, okay? Or something else has happened. Or there's a dick and a vag. I don't know, all right? But these people are called intersex. Now, if you take intersex people out of the equation, it's pretty simple. If you're born a man, you compete against men. If you're born a woman, you compete against women. Is that fucking hard? And to really hammer home the point, and if you don't know these facts, then you shouldn't have any opinion on this at all. People who are born male, who live their lives as a male and then become female, have bigger bones, bigger lungs, bigger hearts, bigger fucking everything, all right? They are bigger, more powerful athletes, and that is very dangerous in a sport, a combat sport like boxing. About 1.7 people who are born worldwide are intersex. That's not that many people. And then to consider that out of that world population, I wrote it down, it's 1 in 500,000 people, or 0.0000017% of the world population would ever make it to the Olympics. So to take that stat and think about 1.7% of 0.0001%, you know what I'm saying, it's a fucking small number, all right? This is something we don't normally have to worry about. But it is important that we talk about the fact that men shouldn't box women. But it's not just boxing, is it? Volleyball's dangerous too, apparently. Female volleyball player, 17, left paralysed and with brain damage by transgender opponent who cackled with delight after knocking her to the ground. Now, how do I feel about this one? Obviously, it's horrible. This lady's in such a horrific state after it's happened. But am I wrong in saying that there's like mixed volleyball? I don't know. I don't think it's exactly the same. But as boxing or as rugby league or rugby or MMA, for example. But apparently it's pretty full on. A volleyball player left partially paralysed by a trans opponent has slammed the Olympics over its boxing controversy. Peyton McNabb was 17 when a ball was spiked by a trans opponent and the force struck her in the face, threw her to the ground and completely shut off her consciousness, or knocked her out, as it's more commonly known. That's pretty crazy that a ball did that. I guess trans ladies do know how to put balls in the right spot. The 5', 11-inch trans player, so 6 foot, cackled into light, Miss McNabb said, after sending her to the floor, as did the other players on the opposing team. It's an interesting thing to do as a biological male, is to knock a woman down, hurt her, and then laugh. Anyway, Miss McNabb was left with brain damage and paralysis on her right side, and she told the Daily Mail it was disgusting that 2 boxers had failed gender tests, because this is still being discussed, that they had failed the gender tests, allegedly, at this year's Games in Paris. The gender tests were before the Paris Games, but anyway, she fears women could suffer injuries worse than her. And fair enough, you would think that, okay? If you're thinking that these ladies are, in fact, competing against natural born men, you would be thinking that if you copped a volleyball to the head and that did that type of damage, imagine what a punch could do. Or in this case, several punches or several hundred punches. These women have worked so hard and trained tirelessly to get all the way to the Olympics, also they can get punched in the face by a dude. It used to be illegal for men to beat up women, and now people are putting it on TV and watching it. It's such a weird reality we are living in now. Couldn't put it better myself, to be honest. Another thing that I noticed with the Paris Games is here in Australia, there's a big television company called Channel 9. Now, they bought the rights to the game, spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that. And I found it very, very strange that the night that an Australian woman was R-worded by a group of absolute grubs in Paris, I believe they were migrants too, well, that's just saying, that they reported on it a little bit, but they quickly washed over it. I'm sure that didn't have anything to do with the fact that they were trying to promote the games. And, you know, the fact that a woman from Australia was attacked and R-worded in that country would have made it, a bit of a shit night to start talking about how good the swimming is. But anyway, who gives a shit, right? Now, Keyleth, the boxer, she has said that, for the longest time that she is a woman, okay? She was born that way. And I think the only way, really, is for her to start an OnlyFans. That's actually a great way to make a lot of money because the Olympics don't pay their athletes. It's a fucking joke. But anyway, she also claimed that it's a conspiracy to prevent Algeria from winning gold medals. No one gives a shit about Algeria trying to win gold medals, okay? In closing, and to wrap this video up, I just want to say, gentlemen out there, of all men, don't punch women. Does that need to be said? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you grab some tickets to my Australian Capital Tour. It's on sale right now, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo, au revoir. Bye-bye.